So let's bring in our British contributor, Ian Woods now. Ian, good to see you. Good evening where you are, by the way. So has Boris got some wriggle room here? Has he got a little breathing space?
Well, he thought that he had a little bit of a silver lining, that this police investigation might delay the publication of the Sue Gray inquiry, which has already been delving into matters in Downing Street over the last few weeks. But it appears in the last couple of hours that he doesn't even have that, because we now understand that the Sue Gray official report could be published within the next 24 hours. They also thought that perhaps it might prejudice the police inquiry, but no, they've decided that they can publish that inquiry as soon as possible. Why are the police investigating now? Well, they've had a look at what evidence that Sue Gray has gathered, and they've thought that there is prima facie evidence. And one of the other things that they were weighing up, because initially they didn't seem to be too keen on getting involved in investigating something that happened 18 months ago, for which the maximum penalty is usually only £100. But they've acted because one of the thresholds they set was whether or not the people who are allegedly involved in this knew the rules and knew they were breaking the rules. Well, of course they knew the rules, because they helped write the rules and they were keen to publicise the rules for everybody else to follow.
So is it true that Boris Johnson may well be preparing to make a speech tomorrow?
What we think is going to happen is that if the report is published and he has it on his desk, and it may happen in the next few hours, that he will be keen to come to the House of Commons and make a statement, probably after Prime Minister's questions tomorrow, and talk about what the inquiry has found. He is still maintaining that he hasn't broken any rules, but of course now it's going to be up to the police to investigate that. But even if he is off the hook directly, even if it is only other officials who are involved in this, the fact that he has been saying over a period of some weeks now the rules weren't broken, I wasn't aware of any rules being broken, then he's going to be accused of lying to Parliament, which in itself is a resignation offence. And even if he does manage to scrape through this, and some of his supporters are rallying round now and saying, oh, well, this latest birthday party that is now being publicised that he attended, it was only a short event, only lasting 10 minutes or so, and the rules are complicated, and some of the rules didn't need to be rules anyway. Well, if you make the rules, you've got to follow them. And the court of public opinion is an awful lot more visceral than the court of the United Kingdom in terms of weighing up evidence as to whether a crime has been committed. Most of the British public have already decided that they've seen the evidence and they've made up their minds that Boris Johnson isn't trustworthy.
So what happens then, Ian, if he does try and hold on? I mean, there was so much talk last week about a no confidence motion or letters being handed in. There weren't enough in the end. Do you expect or do people expect that more of those letters may well be submitted if he tries to hold on?
Yeah, I mean, I think that there was a sense of the Tory party rallying reluctantly around their leader last week when one of their number went as far as defecting to the Labour Party. And that forced a lot of Tory MPs to think, well, do we really want to force a leader out of office over what is, in some people's minds, a trivial offence? Do they want, is it a sackable offence for the Prime Minister? And it gave them, if you like, pause for thought. But Tory MPs are a pretty ruthless bunch, and if they look at opinion polls and decide that there's no way back for a Prime Minister who is accused of lying, and it's not just this offence which is being taken into consideration, it reflects age-old questions about Boris Johnson's veracity. He was sacked from previous jobs for bending the truth, and this would appear to be another aspect of that. And it reflects that perhaps people are not prepared to put up with the idea that there's one rule for them and one rule for other people, because people made real sacrifices during lockdown. They missed the final hours, in many cases, of their loved ones' lives to obey the rules. And knowing that other people did not follow the rules just makes people mad in a way that some political scandals don't really reach the wider public. But this one does, because it affected everyone in the country.
Yeah, that's right. And the word Teflon has been applied many times to Boris Johnson. But the point has also been made, hasn't it, Ian, that how does Boris Johnson stay as Prime Minister in the event that in the future he's got to announce further lockdowns to control quite possibly other variants that might emerge when he has broken the rules in the past?
Yeah, I mean, I think that there was an element of that over Christmas with the Omicron variant coming out and lockdown rules being reimposed, that people didn't really want to follow them as stringently as they had 18 months ago because of all these allegations that were around. I think that Boris Johnson would say to you that they think that they've got COVID-19 licked in this country. They think that they're on top of it thanks to the booster vaccinations. And that isn't so much a worry for them anymore. It's whether or not Boris Johnson can really fight another general election, having gone through this scenario over the past few weeks. And even if Tory MPs think that, OK, we'll give them the benefit of the doubt, we won't put in a vote of no confidence at this stage, we'll weather it for the next few months. We'll see how local elections go in a few months' time. We've got a situation obviously developing with possible war in Europe with on the Ukraine-Russian border at the moment. Perhaps if we just hang on and see the next few months through, then it might be the time to think about the next general election in a couple of years' time. And is Boris Johnson the man to lead us into it when he's lost so much of his authority?
Very good points. Ian Woods, appreciate your time as always. We'll talk to you again soon.